morning sun filtered through the windows of the characters' apartment as they awoke to the usual sounds of a city just beginning its day. With a routine that had become second nature, the characters stretched and reached for their phone before even getting out of bed. Checking their route app, the familiar screen revealed something unexpected. A major road they normally took was now impassable due to sudden road closures. The screen flashed warnings in bright red, indicating hours-long detours ahead. Adjusting on the fly, the character quickly scanned for an alternative route through narrow alleyways and side streets that were usually off-limits to their daily routine. As they stepped out into the chilly morning air, the city around them was still quiet, with only a few early risers bustling about. The decision to take this new path filled the character with both anticipation and a slight sense of adventure. The first part of the journey took them through familiar neighborhoods, but soon enough, the scenery changed as they entered more industrial areas, their surroundings becoming narrower and less populated. The streets here felt intimate in a way that the main roads never did. As they neared the park, memories of yesterday's storm began to surface. Fallen trees had blocked walking trails then, turning what should have been serene paths into obstacles. Today, however, some progress had been made. Fallen branches littered the ground, but a large tree stubbornly remained in place, partially obstructing a popular path. The character didn't hesitate for long, though they were unprepared with any tools. Their instinct was to help clear the way further. They began by pushing and nudging smaller debris aside, then used their hands to move fallen branches out of the way, creating more room for others to pass through safely. A few early morning joggers paused to watch as the character worked diligently without complaint or complaint. The air smelled fresh and earthy, a reminder that each day offers new chances to make things better. Mid-morning approached, and the city began its transition from sleepy calm to bustling activity. Construction sites became more numerous, their barriers expanding unexpectedly overnight due to ongoing work schedule. Near one such site, an elderly woman stood struggling with her groceries as she attempted to cross over construction barricades that had shifted during the night, making her path narrower and less clear. Without a second thought, the character moved towards her. They carefully navigated around the newly placed barriers themselves before reaching out to help guide the woman safely through the gaps and onto the other side of the street where she could continue on her way. Her smile was warm as she thanked them quietly, a small moment of connection in the midst of an otherwise hurried morning. Returning from their lunch break with a quick bite near another construction site, the character felt a sense of accomplishment for having helped both in the park and at the barricades earlier that day. Yet upon entering the office building where they worked, they found themselves running slightly late due to all the route adjustments. Their boss glanced up briefly, but said nothing as they hurried past. Afternoon brought with it another task requiring physical effort. A colleague approached them carrying a heavy desk drawer in need of repair. The character volunteered immediately and lifted it easily, showcasing their strength yet again. However, while moving swiftly down the corridor, accidental bump into another co-worker's project board caused several important papers to flutter across the floor, pausing briefly, but not long enough to apologize or explain themselves fully. The character quickly gathered up the scattered documents and handed them back to the surprised colleague before continuing on their way. The act was brief but effective. Work resumed with minimal disruption, each person returning to their tasks without further ado. As evening approached, the character continued their day as they had all morning, maintaining a direct approach and physical engagement with whatever tasks came their way. Despite occasional misunderstandings from these actions, there was no slowing down for social niceties or explanations. The focus remained solely on efficiency and getting things done. The city gradually quieted once more by nightfall, its usual hustle replaced now by shadows lengthening across familiar streets and alleyways. For the character, however, this day had been filled with small moments of impact. The clearing of a path in the park, helping an elderly woman cross barriers safely, lifting heavy drawers for repairs, all contributing to a sense of accomplishment, despite running slightly late. With each action taken, there was no grand moral lesson or overtly stated intention behind it. Instead, these actions simply emerged naturally from who they were. Someone willing to step into small acts of help and strength when needed without seeking recognition. As the day came to an end, so too did this cycle of immediate response and direct engagement with whatever challenges presented themselves along their route.